segment, our special guest is Dan Talbot, Senior Director of Athletics for Polk County Public Schools. And, well, you've been a little bit busy. There's been a little bit of rain on Friday nights, huh?
Just a little bit.
And not just Friday.
But nothing to worry about. I mean, like we said, we'll play through it. And our communities are very passionate about their sports, not just football, but volleyball and golf and swimming. And I feel bad for swimming. I think they have been impacted the most. I think we have schools that have gotten a half a meet so far this year. We don't think about, obviously the spotlight's on football as most communities, but when you sit down and talk to coaches, I mean, swimming's probably and golf probably been hit the hardest because,
sure.
If it rains on Wednesday, some of the golf course you can't play on Thursday,
yeah.
Because of all the water. So a lot of our sports been impacted with the weather.
I'd be able to play because that's where I usually am at, is in the water, but.
I signed up to play 18 holes. I usually play about 9, and I get too frustrated. But then I always hit that one shot that
brings you back.
Brings you back.
Brings you back.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, we had a whole list of questions that we were going to go through and topics we were going to discuss, but we're actually going to do a little bit of breaking news here on Sports Central. We hope they'll forgive us.
Well, I think it leads into, the questions been asked with the previous guests on, what's the future hold?
Yeah.
And I know they discussed, the future of the athletics in Polk County, but, this deals with the immediate future and beyond. So I'm excited to let you tell what we've been working on for a long time.
Yeah, so we talked about for a long time prosperity through partnerships, and I think Polk County does it as good as anybody in the state or in the country of working together. Of course, boys and girls basketball have long been RP funding, or the Lakeland Center. That's where you went to win a title, and every team around the state, that's the goal beginning of the season, is we want to get to Lakeland.
Get to the White House.
Get to the White House. You're right.
Let's name it correctly because they still call it the White House.
Well, why don't you go ahead? I will let you make the announcement. This is actually going to be released about 1 o'clock today by the Florida High School Athletic Association. Go ahead.
So I think, we're very excited to announce with our partnerships with Tourism and Sports Marketing. Is that the new name? Is that?
Yeah, Polk County. Yeah, that's fine. Polk County Tourism Sports Marketing. Yep.
Okay, with Polk County Public Schools Athletic, the RP Funding Center, the City of Lakeland, Polk State College.
Yep.
That it's official that we're going to next year and many years beyond, we're going to be the host of the state championships for boys and girls volleyball at Polk State College, boys and girls weightlifting at RP Funding Center, as well as our traditional staple of boys and girls basketball at the RP Funding Center. So we are excited to have those 6 state championships event right here in Central Florida, right in Polk County. It was a lot of work, but it goes back to the prosperity, of you said, of the partnerships that we have is our community, our school system, and all these different entities coming together to bring the highest of caliber events that high school sports has to offer to Polk County. It's a tremendous thing. It's been a lot of work, and it's going to be a lot of work to do those, but I think it's important to showcase Polk County and what our county has to offer in relation to sports and other things. I'm super excited that those events are here. Our parents that, you think about weightlifting, it was in the Panhandle at a high school. I went there last year. It took me 7 hours from my house in Winter Haven to get to the state weightlifting finals. And the opportunity to be able to host boys and girls weightlifting in RP Funding Center, along with all the other sports, and we're not done. I mean, I think we're not satisfied of what we've accomplished in a short amount of time with those 6 premier events in Polk County. We still want more, but we're excited to be able to talk about it and officially say we are the host of the FHA state championships for volleyball, weightlifting, and basketball.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Obviously, we're able to finally share the news. What is it, from the FHSAA people that draws them to want to bring these championships to Polk County? What is it that makes us like the bright spot to bring these new events and continue to keep basketball here for as long as it's been?
I think it boils down to a couple things. I think it deals with the fact that obviously basketball's always been here, and it's traditionally been here, but it goes back to the people in Polk County. I mean, if you realize the FSA doesn't have to do much when they get here. I mean, we have people and volunteers within our school system, outside our school system, that want those events here to help make them successful, promote them. Obviously, Central Florida is a great location for, it's right in the middle of the state, so it's not too far, not too close. You know, it's an ideal situation for everybody, but I think the FHA likes to go to places where they're wanted, and I think they know they're wanted here in Polk County, that we value our relationship with tourism and sports marketing, Polk County Public Schools, that we want a partnership with them, and we're actively and aggressively seeking different partnerships. So it's always nice to go where you want it, and I think they feel that when they come to Polk County, is that they know they're wanted here.
Well, and these are 5-year agreements for all these events, and Dan, it makes up, if I'm correct, a little more than 25% of all state championships will be hosted in Polk County just with this. And as you said, we're working on some other things that we can't talk about, but we're always working on other things. But to that point, 5 years, combined projected economic impact of more than $30 million. This is huge, but also you want that competitive advantage for our local teams. Obviously, it helps to reduce costs for Polk County Public Schools, not sending these athletes so far away, but coaches and players love it because it's not, oh, we don't get to go anywhere. It's, we get to compete in our own backyard. We get to have a bunch of fans there, grandma and grandpa and sister and all, everybody can be there, versus the logistical problems of 7 hours away, right?
Correct. I mean, that's a big part of having them. You know, the student athletes get to sleep in their own beds, you know, eat the normal food. You're not, a coach can concentrate on the game plan and coaching instead of, you know, because when schools go on the road, it's a 24-hour job for the coach. I mean, because even though it's 3 o'clock in the morning and the student athletes should be sleeping, you never know, but they should be sleeping. The coach, someone has to be awake to ensure something doesn't happen. I mean, it's a, you know, I hate to use the term babysitting, but it's a 24-hour babysitting job.
There's a responsibility.
There's a responsibility to, you know, because you got to think about it. The parents are entrusting, you know, our athletic directors, our coaches, with their most prized possession, and that's their son or daughter.
Sure.
And so we have to ensure that we do everything in our power to make sure they're safe, and it's a great experience, and to gain that trust, you know, with the families.
Well, I want to make sure to hit it one more time to give credit where credit's due, because it was multiple partners coming together. So at RP Funding Center, of course, City of Lakeland, Tony Camarillo and his staff, unbelievable
Great job.
The retention of boys and girls basketball for the next 5 years, then bringing in boys and girls weightlifting, and they have different seasons. One is in the
winter, and
one's in the spring. And then Stanley Cromartie and Polk State College, boys and girls volleyball. Girls will be in the fall, boys will be in the spring. And we talked earlier about the fact that now boys volleyball is being added to Polk County sports. So, gee, it's great when a plan comes together, right?
It does. It does. You know, when you add it as a sport, you know, over the summer, and then you get to state championships, hopefully, you know, we don't know how many schools will have a team and how many will be able to field a team. That'll all kind of work itself out. But I think bringing the state championships here will, like anything else, will gather interest, and people will be able to see it at a high level, you know, and get interest. And I think it just all funnels down to getting our elementary and our middle school students to see this competition, the benefits that athletics can bring to basically, you know, our number 5 of our strategic plan, which is the whole child. And I think athletics is just a part of that, and we're excited that, you know, we're in the strategic plan and that we can contribute to the whole child within our school system. So we're excited. I mean, the fact that you figure everyone benefits from the state championships. Like you said, we get to save money because we're not sending, you know, student athletes all over the state of Florida. We can do that during the regular season, and not at the highest level, but the restaurants, you know, people are going to be here eating in our restaurants, staying in our hotels.
Jobs.
It creates jobs. It creates the economic impact to our community. This is just a win-win for everybody in Polk County.
Absolutely. Well, and again, Board of County Commissioners through Tourism and Sports Marketing, and thanks to you and Superintendent Hyde and Polk County Public Schools, because again, this is a lot of things, a lot of the activities that people don't see, the behind the scenes work that makes all this. Events don't just show up, they have to be recruited, and then as important as the recruitment process is, it's maintaining those relationships, and it's coming through with what you said you would do to keep those events. And I don't know that I've ever seen a more cohesive group effort than what we just saw.
Yeah, I think, you know, we sat down and said, why don't we go after these 6 events? And it was like, let's do it. And then here we are today. But, you know, I am fortunate. I do get a lot of the credit, but I am, you know, extremely blessed and fortunate to have a staff that I have. You know, the superintendent was on, and we're very fortunate to have a superintendent that understands that, you know, athletics is important and it means a lot to our community. Is it the most important thing? Absolutely not, because that's why we call them student athletes. So we understand that, and we're on the same page, and I love the vision about creating more professional development and making our coaches better, making our athletic directors better, and you know, the fact that we created a new position, you know, the senior coordinator of athletics right underneath me, where I have Courtney. I don't think I tell her enough. You know, she's only been on the job a month and a half, so, but she's great to have in the office. I mean, it's a different perspective for me. So we're not just seeing things through one's lens, and we bounce ideas back and forth. So she's going to be a great addition. She's running the middle school sports. Like I said, we have supplements for them now. We have supplements for the coordinators at the middle school level, and Courtney's role will continue to grow into the high school level, but she already has the respect of the high school athletic directors because of that formal relationship. So it frees up a lot of time for me, not to neglect my duties, but to assisting in going out and getting these events and doing different things. And like I said, we're working on our curriculum program for inspiring ADs. We want, you know, athletic directors to have an idea once they step into that role. So I am fortunate to have, you know, my staff and Debbie Beasley, who helped me out tremendously. I do get a lot of the credit, but you got to understand it's a team thing in the athletic department for Polk County Public Schools.
All right. Well, I don't know if we were supposed to break that news, but we broke the news. So I think there's a press release going out about 1 o'clock, but it is exciting. And as we said, there's other sports that are in our sights.
Well, that's what I love is like, you know, we've accomplished this major goal and task of getting these events here. And you and I are very similar, where we check the box and we're like, okay, what next? What can we do next? We're constantly wanting to grow and expand and provide, you know, benefits to our student athletes and to the community. So I love the fact that, you know, we have every right to go out and celebrate and be excited of what we did, but it's one of those deals where, you know, let's move on to the next one.
We've only got a few more minutes, and Gerald, I don't know if you have anything else, but I was going to ask. Rumor has it, and I want to see if you can confirm this here, that you and the superintendent have talked about doming Polk County in general, just to make those outdoor sports a little bit easier. And then, of course, you'd have to turf all the fields to do that. So is there any truth to that?
Well, I think when you have a superintendent, I think he spent a little too much time up north. I think that blood thickened up a little bit because I think the heat's wearing him out a little bit down here. He doesn't realize it. To me, it's just, you know, it's hot today.
I mean, it's from Miami. He should, you know.
You know, if you spend time, I've spent time up in the north, and that cold weather affects you differently, but when you come down here, you know, he's experiencing, it's like twice as hot for him as it is for the normal Floridian. But we're excited to have Superintendent Hyde. We're fortunate enough to have him as our superintendent and his mission and vision for our district. I'm excited to work, you know, not only for him, but with him. And that's the one thing I think that stuck with me the most with him, as I was with him on his interview. And after we spent the day together with him and his wife, giving him a tour of Polk County, I said, I hope it works out, and I would enjoy working for you. And he immediately stopped me and said, you will never work for me. We will work together. And that's really stuck with me, and he stuck true to that, which is very exciting for us. So I'm excited for not only the future of athletics in Polk County, but for the entire school district. I think great things are ahead.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Anything else?
No, I know we're short on time. You know, just say the only thing I would say, I know the addition recently there in Mulberry, turfing that field, and some of the new things. You know, any other small tidbits you could throw out of new projects that are looking to do with high schools?
Yeah, we're looking at, obviously, you know, the Mulberry addition was great, their new school.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have the new school in Davenport. We're actually getting ready to start the planning of football, or the new high school out on the east side. But we are taking a look at, you know, replacing our grass fields with a turf. It's not an overnight, you know, project, sure, obviously, but we're looking at companies and see what the, you know, doing a study on Bryant Stadium that has turf and Mulberry now that has turf, and see, are we actually saving money? Is it beneficial to the district? And then hopefully turning that over into, you know, looking at the rest of the district and doing some fields like that, and in partnering with, you know, with other entities in our community. We're working on a project right now with Tenor Rock High School and Drew Watson and Southeastern University, looking at doing a partnership. One of us late is doing a partnership with Polk County Public Schools in the city of Bartow on some things, and that just shows you the tremendous impact our community has on our school system, and that's the one thing that will keep me in Polk County for the rest of my life, is the people care. And sometimes it gets old when the phone rings and this and that, but that's part of the job. But it's just nice to have people that care, because you can go to a lot of communities, sure, and go to the schools in the communities where it's just non-existent. So I think, you know, we have to take the good with the bad, that there is people, because there's a lot of communities out there that do not have the support that we have here in Polk County, so it's great. Well,
we certainly appreciate it, and Dan, thanks so much for not only all that you do, but always willing to come on Sports Central.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here always.
Thanks for watching, and if you want to see more videos from Sports Central, click the video below and be sure to like, share, and subscribe.